how to roast coffee beans with a popcorn popper. We're using today the West Bend Poppery 1, available on eBay for about 30 bucks. It's the first version, heavier duty with more wattage. It's a little bit cold today, so we have it inside of a box to help maintain the temperature. So let's go ahead and plug it in. It's good to let it run for a few minutes to preheat the popper for more even and quicker popping. What we've got is some green Sumatra beans. What you want to do is add them until you can see at first they start swirling, and then the swirl becomes less and less pronounced, and they start popping up kind of in a random pattern. And from this point, you just start stirring. You can see that fluffy stuff that's coming off is the chaff from the outside of the bean. And it's the first thing to leave. As it roasts, it's going to reduce in weight, and the beans are going to bounce around a little bit more. We're starting to even out the top and bottom distribution of the beans, so the bottom ones don't get hotter than the top ones at first, but as it progresses, they are going to pretty much do that on their own.
About a minute into the roast, the beans are starting to take on some color. That lone black bean you see in there is left over from the previous roast. Now we are entering what's called the first crack, and you can barely hear it in this video, but it does make a very light popping noise.
Once the beans get going, we put a 2-inch to 3-inch aluminum ducting reducer in there to keep them from popping out.
Now we're at the second crack stage. At this point, you'll begin to notice a little bit of smoke coming from the roasting. Once the beans are at the desired roasting level, what you want to do is kill the power and cool them off as quickly as possible. So we're going to pull the plug and pour them into a colander, and take that colander and put it over a fan if you've got it. Right here we've got a squirrel cage blower from a wood stove, but any old fan will do. Getting the beans up to temperature as quick as possible and cooling them down as quick as possible, we have found is key to the best flavor. You want to continue this process until the beans have cooled down to room temperature. Okay, once the beans have cooled, we will turn off the blower and sift through them to see if you can find any unevenly roasted beans. Occasionally there will be a few. And discard them. This roast isn't perfectly even, but with practice and you can get a little bit better. And now that they've cooled down to room temperature, we want to transfer them to a storage container. These little units can be found at any kitchen supply store. They work really great for keeping your beans in an airtight enclosure. And then label the top with the variety and your roasting date. We'll have to delete these and put on what's proper.